going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Guys, today we have got another part for the GT500. It's gonna give us a little help at the drag strip, I hope, but we're gonna find out. Anyway, we got Philip and we've got the man himself, Cody. Cody, look at this.
Why he the man for him?
Why is he the man?
Yeah.
Just look at his awesomeness. Anyway, Precision Turbo.
Where you at?
You wear that shirt so much.
Man, I know.
So much. How many of those shirts you got?
Got a few.
Okay, so you're not wearing the same one over and over again. Okay. So you got several of these.
Yeah.
So you spent money on these shirts.
Yeah.
So why have you not got a sponsorship yet?
No, I don't know.
Precision, where's it
trying
at?
to build a race car here, you know.
Trying to build a race car. We need to take the engine out, forge bottom end, turbo from Precision.
Boom.
All right, anyway. And then we got Philip over here.
Man, don't be hitting my outfit, dog.
Philip,
right?
got the
My
white flashy shoes and the jeans that I would have got made fun of back in my day for wearing. Anyway, guys, we're gonna get to what the whole video is about, and that is what is in this box. Of course, pretty much, the title is probably gonna give it away, but anyway.
It's a supercharger.
It's a supercharger, guys.
It's
a compact supercharger. It's a Gen 3R compact. It did come from VMP. Anyway. Anyway, what we have here is the N2MB wide open throttle box. Now this box has a two-step function, but we're not going to be using that because I'm still on stock timing components, and yeah, they've been known to have a little issue here and there, and I'm not wanting to risk that. But anyway, the main function is the wide open throttle shifts because the 6060, as you know, doesn't like wide open throttle shifting, so this will help it. It gets a lot of praise on the forums, so we're gonna see how it does. Here is the instructions right here from N2MB.com. It has some setup instructions that you can do without having to hook up the laptop. It also goes through and of course that's continued. And then here's the installation instructions. It kind of tells you everything. And then here is basically what you're gonna do on 11 up Mustang. It's all labeled right here. So it gives you the pin on the connector, and that's the body connector on the PCM, the engine connector, and the trans. But here, what I did is I printed out a diagram of each one, and I just highlighted what I'm going after, and then right here to make sure we get it all 100% correct, and everything looks good. And then on the fuse box, I'm going to show you guys when I start doing it. We're going to kind of lift the fuse box up, take it apart, get to the wiring underneath, and we're going to tap into fuse 40 so it can cut the ignition. That's how it works. On the wide open throttle box, it cuts ignition when you put your foot on the clutch. It cuts ignition for X amount of time, and then it lets you do a wide open throttle shift, easier on the transmission, easier on everything, and you get a much faster shift by doing that. But anyway, guys, that's what we're doing. I'll walk you through as we do it. We're going to install this right here under this kick panel right here on the passenger side, and the grommet and everything we got to get to is behind the carpet, all over here. So that's what we're going to do right now, guys. We're going to pick this up, but really quick, I've already started picking this up already and getting it ready. And you got to be very careful. You got to take your time coming up little at a time. Don't yank it and be forceful. I've seen people actually mess this part up, actually bending it and pulling it up and getting it bent right here and messing this part up. But anyway, guys, just be careful with that. All right, that just comes off a lot easier than the other piece comes off. Here's where it all starts. We're actually going to mount the box right here, but the wiring is going to go through there. So it's basically where the wiring's going to go through. All right, guys, so this is the grommet, the big grommet that I was telling you about on the inside of the car. You just pull it out. I pushed it out from the other side. Now you're just going to feed this end into the car. There's a hole right here, okay? It comes out to this little flexible little piece right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick something in there and create a hole, and then I'm going to feed all of my wires through that and make it tight. All right, as you can see what I did, the tip of this was like a hard rubber piece, so I cut that off. There's already a hole there that comes out, so I'm utilizing that. And what I'm going to do is once I get everything ran up there and everything pulled back into there exactly like I want it, I'm going to take this and put it right there, then I'm going to heat shrink it, and then I'm going to tape around that to make sure it's weather tight. All right, so we got the battery out, battery and battery tray out. I'm going to use whichever one of these that I decide, probably this one since it's bigger. We're going to use that, and we're going to bring the wires in. As you can see, I put a rubber grommet right in there, and we ran the wires through here. We're fixing to loom the wires, but two of the wires have got to go in here to the fuse we was talking about earlier, and then the other 3 come over here. You're gonna have one in each connector of the PCM. So we're just gonna get that apart real quick. All right, one correction right here. It says red and then red and the black of the red and black pair. I don't have a black wire that comes out here. I do have an orange wire, and I was telling Philip I bet that was it. So I went back and looked at their website, and it says right here that if you're equipped with the orange wire, replace the 16 gauge black wire, the red and black pair of wires. So this is the red and this is the orange, and
the red is the in and orange is the
yeah,
out.
the red is the ignition coil power in, and the orange is out. And it's very important you get that correct. And then you've got the black for ground, the green for the clutch wire, the blue for the throttle. But you can go back to these pins and then where I've got it marked out here. So that's what we're going to do now. You've got an engine harness, a body harness, and a trans harness. Basically, when you unplug it, you can fish everything out. This one, of course, is going to the engine, so that's the engine harness. This one is the small one, which is the trans harness. And this one right here is the body harness. So you're going to tap in one wire into each of these.
Now I got a quick question.
Yeah.
Now what does it mean by coil power in and out? So explain it to
Okay.
me.
Well, you've got the power we're going to tap into after the fuse. So basically we're tapping in after the fuse. So what we're going to do is when we tap in, we're tapping in the fuse 40. And when we tap into that fuse power, we're tapping in right after. So the power coming from the fuse is going to go to the in. The power going, the wire that's going out to the coils is the out. You got the in and you got the out.
Okay. Yeah, but I was kind of curious when we was looking at the
everything else.
Yeah,
every other wire we're going to tap into. We're just going to tap into the wire like the wire's going to be there. We're going to just tap into it. The power wire to the coils, we are going to cut that wire. And we're going to go into the box and out of the box. That way the box can cut the power supply to the coils, which will cut the ignition to give the wide open, so you can do the wide open throttle shift. So, you got it?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, so hopefully everybody else got it. All right guys, so what we're going to do now is we're going to pop this off so I can get to the wire. Once that comes off, then we're going to locate the pin. If you look right here, it is 1, 2, 3, and you see is 1, 2, 3, that pin right there. The plastic tab up in there, you just got to pry it back a little bit and then you'll pull on the wire. And the wire is a green and violet. So what we'll do is we'll get the green and violet wire here. Green and violet right there. Alright, so if we have that isolated so I can pull on it, we'll get up in here. And just like that, you're going to pull this right here out. Now we're going to use our stripper tool. We're going to go far enough back into here so we're not affecting anything. And basically we're going to do like that. And then once you do like that, you can actually take it and there it is. There they are. You can just snip that insulation right there. Get out of the way. Now we're going to use the green wire into this, and basically you're going to weave the wire up against it tight. Get a tight fit all the way up. just like that. And now we're going to take a soldering iron, and what we're going to do is we're going to, on one side of the wire, we're going to put the heat to it. On the other side, we're going to put a solder, and that's going to pull the solder all the way through, because basically all the solder does is it keeps this wire held together. So you want to, if you can pull it through, that's the best way to do it. Some people like to goop it on. It's not really the preferred method. It's not really the best way either. So you just heat the wire up until it pulls the solder through. Alright guys, that right there is what it should look like when you're done. If you look at it, let me get the flashlight. If you look at it, it should just look like shiny silver wire when you're done. That pulled, if you look, it pulled all the way through to the bottom. So that's a good connection. It's not going to come loose. The reason I pulled this wire out of the pin is because now I'm going to have to heat shrink it. And without cutting the wire, there's no way to get the heat shrink on. So that's the reason I pulled the pin out, so we can get the heat shrink on, heat shrink it so it's weather tight. The other methods to doing this are using a tap where you get in and you actually, it's like a, you've seen them, all seen them before, or Scotch locks, and you just piece them together. The bad thing about those is it allows moisture to get in there, and over time it allows corrosion of the wire, and then you'll create resistance, create bad connection, and you'll start having running issues, and you won't be able to figure out where it's coming from. And then you'll finally isolate it back to this connection. With the soldering and then heat shrinking, you take care of that. You basically keep it weather tight, and it's the best method. You can use a heat gun. You can use basically any method you want to. Just basically something to heat it up. You can even use a lighter if you're careful. What I'm using is a torch that's got a little end on it. It's got a grate or whatever you want to call it, and basically it just blows out heat without the flame touching. If you look at it, it does it very fast. I'm gonna go around it. Basically, you'll see some like clearish, whitish stuff come out once it's made the seal, and then once it does that, you're good. And now you're gonna get this time to cool off, and then I will tape around it just to make sure it's plenty tight, keep the moisture out. Once you get it taped up, you'll want to throw it back in the correct pin, which was the third one over. You can't really see on the camera, but there's a little road edge right here on the bottom part right here, and that actually fits a certain way into the connector. It'll only go one way. If you try to put it in one way, it won't go. Just look at it and you'll see which way, how it goes. And then, because it'll go in really simple, just like that, until you hear it lock, and then try to pull on it and make sure it doesn't come back out. Because if you don't lock it in and then you go to put the connector on and you push it in, the pin will get pushed out and you won't have a good connection. So you want to pull on it and make sure you're good. And then you're going to go ahead and cut this tape off right here. That way you can pin this back, and then you're going to bring this back up. And clip that in just like that, and then I'll go back and retape this. And then once I get it around there, I'm going to go around and then tape this up. Alright, so don't forget to put this back on. Snap it back into place, and then you're good to go. Alright, so we're going to pick this back up on the fuse box. you got these tabs you want to pull back, and you just want to pull all these tabs back and lift the box, try to separate the fuse box, the top and the bottom. Alright guys, so this is the yellow and green wire. This is coming from the fuse, so when you cut this wire, you're going to cut it with enough room to pull out here so we can work with. So I want to cut it right about there so we can work with it on both sides. Now the wire coming from the fuse, like we was talking about earlier, is going to go to the red wire. The wire heading out, that's the wire going to the coils, is going to go to the orange wire. Alright, so we've got everything put back together on the hood except for the positive cable. We are going to do that the very last, but we're going to get it back up in the air. I've got to put my the back part of my inner fender wheel well in, and then get the wheel back on. Then we're going to push it out, get the door open, and get inside, hook up the box. Once I hook up the box, I'll connect the cable back, and then we'll go from there. But as you see, everything is hidden. Here we got the black loom on the wiring, so to hide the wiring, we've got everything hooked up. And Cody, it's almost time. Program it, and then who knows, maybe go to the track tonight and test it out. Now we're just going to tuck this in there just like that. And if you see, it's getting tighter and tighter the more I push on it.
Yeah.
And that right there is going to create a really good seal. And then I'm going to put some tape around it.
Oh yeah.
Alright, so once we got in here, I routed the wiring behind the fuse box and pulled it out right there, connected it to the box. Now I've got the serial USB connected right there going to the USB, which will hook up to the laptop. And then the ground wire is right there. Let me pull that back. The ground wire is right there. So pretty simple install, not too much to it, to be honest with you. And so now we're gonna get the interior put back together, and then we'll get to programming it. All right, this is the interface for the box. So you just go to mpcompleteperformance.com, and then you will follow. So the cord could be longer, but it is what it is. All right, so now we're gonna read. You connected a wire throttle box to your computer. You can now change the settings. So we're gonna go here, and we're gonna go to Ford CKP, and auto no lift shift is enabled, and it's in auto mode. On the 2011 Mustangs, it says right here in the instructions, you need to change the TPS threshold and the two-step, and in the no lift shift to 1.7. It'll automatically go 1.71 whenever you do it. And then once you change those to 1.7, you'll click right, and then it writes really fast. Okay, there's a lot of things you can change. You can go your launch control, you can change this. You can set it at 2000, and then you click right, and then it writes. So if I wanted to use a two-step, I have it set at 2000 right now. Whenever I hit the pedal on the floor, it'll go to two-step mode. And then right here we got no lift shift is enabled. It's an auto. Oh crap. Able in an auto. You can do nitrous window switch with this thing, guys. It's pretty cool. So push the pedal down. Gas. Now I'm gonna hit read while he does that. You have to hit read every time. And as you can see, it says down. Now go in and now press the clutch down. The clutch is pressed down, hit read, and as you can see, the clutch changed to down. So everything is working as it should. So we're gonna start the car and let it warm up. Hey, it started. That's a good thing. Anyway, guys, it's pretty simple. But once the engine warms up, we'll come back here and we'll do these tests, and then we're not going to test the two-step, are we? One time? Alright guys, right now we're gonna do the first test, which is to make sure that it's gonna cut out for the wide open throttle shifts. Press the gas pedal to the floor, immediately press the clutch. You should hear the engine start to rev up, stumble for a short period while the ignition is cut, then return back on and continue revving. So that would be the wide open throttle shifting. So perfect. So guys, if you didn't catch that, watch. Floor, I'm gonna go floor, then I'm gonna hit the clutch and you'll hear the engine cut out. That's the length of time you have to get that shift down. So if you ain't fast, guess what? This might be the only time I do this. This is for a GT500 owner, 11 to 12 especially, with aluminum block, to do this. I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna do it, but for a split second. So, you want to record on your phone, you can. You ready?
Yeah. Oh, you gotta upgrade everything so you can do that more often.
Guys, we need cams and billet everything and crank gear so I can just ta 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 ta. I feel like a Honda guy. Did you hear that, guys? Hey, will you send that to me?
Yeah.
All right, guys. I'm hoping I can get to the track tonight and get this tested. I just sent the track owner a message. They're racing tonight. I sent him a message if he's allowing testing. If he is allowing testing, then we will be there. We will run the car. That will be in the next video. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't, and we'll see you in the next video.